Oh hey guys, gals, and other pals, and I am going to blow your minds today. I like video games. I know, your minds are blown, your realities have been shattered. I know. And I also play video games. Crazy, right? And this is just going to be me going through the top 10 games I played in 2025, just like I did two videos, one for 2024 and one for 23. But just like those videos, this isn't about games that just came out in 2025. Because really, I did not play anywhere close to 10 games that came out in 2025. Most of the games I play throughout the year are games from like a bunch of different eras. Kinda recent, decades old, really old, or just a little bit aging. So this isn't top 10 brand new games that just came out last year. And also a lot of these games could be like, or just any games that I tried before a while back, like put in 30 minutes to an hour in before, but then never really got into it, and then tried to play it last year again, and just fell in love with it. This is basically my personal favorite games that I played in 2025, my top 10. Okay? Alright.
Bang, 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 bang. Shoot, shoot, shoot. Bullet, bullet gun.
Number 10. And don't get mad at me, but it's a Call of Duty game. It's Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Now, I know it's a boring, game to pick in pretty much every scenario, especially these days with how strange the Call of Duty games have gotten. But the thing is, I've never really gotten into any Call of Duty game before. I've never really had that Call of Duty online experience. I've never really had that phase in my life where I'm just obsessed with playing Call of Duty online. I've never had that, Call of Duty experience. Until Black Ops 6. Some of my brothers and their friends, convinced me to get it, and so I got it, and I was like, I'll just play the game, when I'm, play the game with them, and that will pretty much be it. And then I started playing it, with my brother and their friends, but then I started playing a little bit of it on my own, and I just kept playing and playing, and quite honestly, it was a very, very fun experience. Because never played any of the Modern Warfares back in the day. Those came out when I was really young, and I didn't play like the more modern Warfares. Yeah, because I didn't even get into Call of Duty like when I was in high school, because I got Black Ops Cold War, tried to get into it, but could never get into it until now. And Black Ops 6, very solid, very fun multiplayer experience, with a few caveats. So, the big things are just with how Call of Duty and Activision's games have gotten recently. So basically, all the different other people you'll see are just wearing the craziest costumes. Like, they have like a bunch of weird skins. You can be a teenage mutant ninja turtle and just be blasting away at other players. Like, what? Okay. And then there's also the crap ton of microtransactions and like the telling you to buy the bundle, buy the season pass or whatever the hell. By the battle pass, and it's just like, goddamn, those things really, specifically like the buy the bundle stuff, really try to get at me, because it would just be so often and often and often. But at the end of the day, once you get into the game, and even when you're seeing all these silly costumes and you're just playing the game, at the end of the day, Call of Duty really just is people shooting each other in the game. That's all it is. Bang, 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 shoot, shoot, bullet, bullet, gun. That's all Call of Duty really is. It's just team deathmatch after team deathmatch after team deathmatch. And you know what? As weird and as generic and as boring and as military coded as that sounds, it's still pretty fun. You know, what can you say? There's a reason why it got so popular, and there's a reason why a lot of people still like it. And you know, I had my fun with it for a couple months, and then I stopped playing it this year. I mean, last year. So, you know, while it did have a bunch of problems, and, you know, recently with, you know, their new game, Black Ops 7, they've really started going down the gutter. Besides those things, like, it's still, you know, I had a fun time with it, albeit a very short time with it. I put a decent amount of hours into the game, all things considered, but at the end of the day, that is nothing that's nothing compared to the amount of hours other people put into the game. Like, some people put in hundreds upon hundreds, even like thousands of hours, and I put in exactly like 100 hours over the span of like a couple months, which is a lot in like a couple months, but still, you know, was just getting really into it, really sucked into the online experience, and you know, it was a very fun time, but definitely at the bottom of this list.
I feel the need for speed.
The next game is Need for Speed Underground. Now, I have tried to get into this game before, but I could only ever get like a few races in before I just stopped playing, and then anytime I try to get back into the game after that, I would just start a new game and then play those same few races again, over and over and over. But recently, like early 2025, I was just like, you know what? I looked at my shelf, I saw Need for Speed Underground, and I was like, fuck it, we're playing Underground today. And I got like super into it, and I just kept grinding and grinding in Need for Speed Underground, and I almost got to the end. I didn't quite beat it, I didn't quite finish all the races, but I got like really far into it, to the point where like any day where I just decide that I want to pop it back in again and just beat it, I just can. It'll take like a couple hours, and then that's it. That's the game. So yeah, it's a very fun game, a very solid racing experience. But I wouldn't say it's the greatest of all time. I wouldn't say it's the greatest in the series. I wouldn't say it's like this Need for Speed game. It was the first one in the series to really set the standard for Need for Speed games going forward, and it set the standard for the type of games that you think of when you think of Need for Speed, like racing games, you know, that's all about customization and street racing and, you know, all that kind of stuff. And you know, it does have all those things. It did introduce all those things, and it was a very important game for the series, and it is still a very fun, solid game. However, I do think it's aged a bit. The handling model, not that great. The progression, not as good as people make it out to be. The car list, and specifically how you unlock some of the cars, like you unlock like a Toyota Supra before you unlock a Nissan 240SX. Like, for those that aren't into cars, that's just strange. I'll put it that way. It's just strange for that to happen. You know, lots of strange things about the game. But yeah, it was still a very fun game. The customization, to this day, it's still like actually pretty solid. It's still actually, I wouldn't say the best in the series, but it does try to be. I think the progression system honestly holds it back a little too much. Like, it takes way too long to unlock just some basic customization parts, you know, just some fenders, bumpers, body kits, whatever, wings, spoilers, whatever. And yeah, it does kind of hold the game back. and I don't think that progression is as good as people say it is. I'm definitely more into the games that came after, like Underground 2, Most Wanted 05, Carbon, and then like the really recent games like Unbound and Need for Speed Heat. But it was still a very solid time for 2025. I still really enjoyed it, and it really did make a very specific part of my year. Okay, fellas, we're almost getting into the really serious, really good, really awesome games that I played this year. I mean, last year. But I don't think this game is going to be it. Kirby Air Riders. Now some people will live and die by this game. Some people think Kirby Air Riders is like the best game Nintendo's ever made, or like at least think it's like way better than Mario Kart World, and just think it's like just one of Nintendo's best racing games that they've made in recent history. And I'm just like, a little bit, kinda, yeah, but not that much. Like, I think, it's a very solid racing game. I do really like a lot of the things about it. I like all the different tracks. I like all the different challenges. I like City Trial, even though I haven't really played City Trial that much. But what I don't like is the adventure mode. The big thing they advertised, or actually they didn't really advertise it that much, but it was just like a very small thing at like the end of like the last direct they had for the game, where they were just like, oh yeah guys, and this game also has an adventure story mode. And it turned out to be kind of just ass. It really just is not a very good adventure mode. The story itself, honestly, surprisingly pretty good. Like, I wasn't expecting a Nintendo Kirby game to really have that interesting of a story, but it does, actually. Like, it's pretty solid. But it's just the actual content of the adventure mode. It's a little too much. So you pretty much just go down a straight road, and then you can have like 3 options for like the types of events you can do next. And then it's just like either a race or a city trial challenge, or just like a challenge on a normal air ride track, like whatever. And this was very fun for like the first 2 stages, and I was like, oh, this is great. But then it just kept getting annoying. Like, it's just literally doing the same things over and over and over again, and pretending like I'm making just monumental, amazing progress in the game. And it's just like, I'm doing the same things again, but I'm just getting a little bit faster and a little bit stronger each time. Like, it's not that deep. It's not that crazy. It's like if I could just get the same experience, just like swapping between all the different modes like really quickly. I just do one race here, one challenge here, one thing here, one thing here, and I get pretty much the same experience, except I just have to go through a little more menus. This being the way you learn about the story and really progress through like the main single player focused thing is a bit annoying. And there's also a lot of issues with the difficulty balancing. Like, sometimes you'll get to like a really important boss and it's just like really easy, and then you'll just go to the next event / challenge and it's just like really freaking hard for some damn reason, and you just don't know why. And I also have a really big problem with the fact that I can't just like at any time switch the machine I'm using. So like, you go through about like 4 or 5 events before you get to a resting station where you get a machine gummy, and then you can upgrade one of your stats, and then you get a chance to change your machine. And like, oh, that's cool, that's great, and that makes sense. except that like you'll be going through a bunch of different challenges just in that short span in between rest stops, where you're just doing completely different things that require like completely different air ride machines to really be able to perform well at it. Like you might have to do something that's about like flying or gliding really high, so you need one of the air ride machines that has really good gliding stats. Or maybe you need a machine that's just like really good for just plain air ride mode, like playing racing, so you just need a solid all-around racing vehicle. Or maybe it's like a combat thing. You have to, oh sorry, I'm a bit sick, where you just have to fight a lot of enemies and defeat a lot of enemies, so you need like a machine that has like really good offensive stats. And it's just like, why do you put me into this situation where every single time I want to change my machine, it's wrong every goddamn time? Literally, I pick a machine, I'm like, this has got to be solid enough to be able to get through the next three or four challenges, and then I immediately go to the next challenge, and it's just like, what? It's like a gliding thing, or it's like a fighting thing, where it's just like, I needed something else for this, and like you didn't warn me, you don't let me change my machine at any other point, you're just like, here it is, there you go. And that just really pisses me off. Like, it just, like, at least when you restart, you have a chance to change your machine, but like, I don't want to restart. I want to one-shot everything. I want to first try everything. But you're just instead making me be like, oh, that's too bad. You should have just known that you needed a different machine to be able to do all these challenges. You should have just known that, bro. You should have just automatically, like, had that foresight. And it just really pisses me off. Other than that, other than the adventure mode, very solid game. I really like the machine customization. I really like air ride mode. I really like going for the different challenges in air ride mode. And I haven't really gotten into the challenges for City Trial. Yeah, I spent so much time bashing adventure mode. It sounds like I hate the game, but really, I had so much fun just like playing through air ride mode constantly, and like trying different machines, trying different characters, taking breaks to customize all my different machines, and you know, make different variations, and it was just really fun. And then I'd go for the different challenges to try and see what I could beat, and I was just, that would be like my sense of my sense of progression for a while, because you know, I'd play the adventure mode and it was just like, all right. So yeah, as much as I really dislike adventure mode, it's still better to have it than to not have it, especially for those story aspects. It was really cool learning about that, and the final boss is really fucking sick, I must say. Like, the final boss is it has a bit of a some annoying qualities, but it's still really unique, really solid, and really fun. But yeah, very fun, but the adventure mode is a little bit goofy for me. So yeah, the next game though, that's when things really start getting real on this list.
Don't never buy no weed from the gas station, bro.
The next game is Plants vs. Zombies Fusion. You see, while everybody else was playing Plants vs. Zombies Replanted when that came out, I was playing Plants vs. Zombies on the Xbox 360, because that is basically Plants vs. Zombies Replanted, but better, and was made like 15 years ago. And then, after seeing all these videos of this fan game for Plants vs. Zombies 1, I was like, you know what? I should try that out. So I figured out how to download it, and then I started playing through, you know, the standard adventure mode in Plants vs. Zombies Fusion. And holy shit, that's fun. It was, it's just very fun. That's really all I can say about it. It really takes the tower defense and strategy that you kind of have in Plants vs. Zombies 1, but actually takes it to a whole new level. In Plants vs. Zombies 1, it's not that deep. It's not that much. It's just enough to have, you know, a little bit of strategy when building your defenses and a little bit of, you know, stuff here and there. But most of the time, it's just like 2 waves, and it's just like, it's not that much. It's place some sunflowers down, and then place like pea shooters or something down, and then you're good. In this, you actually have to think. You actually have to use your brain. You actually have to learn about all these different fusions and figure out, okay, what kind of fusion should I be using here? What works against this and what works against this? It's very fun and engaging, and it's very intuitive. Like it doesn't take that long to learn these fusions. And once you learn these fusions, it all just kind of clicks and makes sense. Like, oh, okay, I use these things and that works well against like these Zombonis, or, you know, these things work well in fog levels, these things work good in night levels, you know, and it's just figuring out all these different things and how they go together, and it's a very fun game. Just taking the simple concept of being able to fuse different plants together to make new plants, fused plants, is such a good concept. You know, it makes me think about my favorite ability in one of my favorite games, Tears of the Kingdom. It's not my favorite game, but it's up there. And my favorite ability in that game is just the fuse ability, being able to fuse things together. It just creates so many different possibilities. And, you know, in this game, you also have like so many different possibilities for different fusions and different plants, and they keep updating the game to keep adding more and more that all have different and unique abilities and properties. It's very in depth. Like, this is basically what Plants vs. Zombies 2 should have been, basically. Like, it goes so deep, and you even have an extra like set of adventure levels, because they have some snow adventure levels. And then you also have a tower defense mode that's more like Balloons tower defense. You have all these different fusion challenges to get even crazier fusions, and then you have all these different mini games that are either like some of the classic mini games you'd have on Plants vs. Zombies 1 but just updated, or you just have completely different unique mini games, you know, based on the concept of fusing and just like challenges in general. And it's a very, very fun experience. Like, it's very addicting. It gives you a lot of dopamine when you're playing. And also, you know, the game also has very good music, because it's not the same music as the original game. It's like I think they just remixed some of the songs from PvZ1, and it sounds really good in all the different, you know, levels and settings. And they even have it work with like the you know, I don't know, I forgot what it's called, but it's like the audio that changes, you know, when it gets more intense. It's like the adaptive audio, you know, the sound design. It's very, very, very good. And the game, very good, and the game runs really well. Like, I was playing it on a shitty laptop. It ran pretty perfectly, except for one time I booted it up, and it was just running really laggy for some reason, and it was dropping frames a lot. But other than that, every time I'd boot it up and play it, it was literally smooth as butter. It was perfect, and I was playing it on a shitty laptop. Now, I haven't played through the Odyssey adventure mode, which gets even crazier. It has more crazy stuff and has more on screen, and that might be more for, you know, my laptop to handle. But hey, you get through you get to get through the bulk of the first adventure. Runs really well. You can probably find some device that you have that can run it, because I think there are even like mobile versions that they have made, like that you could download the APK files for and get it working on like your Samsung or whatever, or find a way to, I don't know. It's really good and it's really cool. I wasn't expecting for a Plants vs. Zombies fan game to end up on this list, but truly, Plants vs. Zombies is that freaking good. It's that good of a game. And, yeah, that's Plants vs. Zombies Fusion for you.
You've saved money your whole life. Great. Now it's time to put all your eggs into one basket and take a huge gamble on your future.
You know, of all the games, I was never expecting a Five Nights at Freddy's game to be the one I fall head over heels for this year. Last year. Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. This is a game that actually came out last year. It actually came out in 2025. And it was a freaking incredible experience. And it really surprised me. Like, I guess my expectations, were kind of really low. The bar was really low after Security Breach. It was just like, if they can just be better than this, it'll be all right. And Security Breach was just so god awful that like anything would have been better than it. And so they not only made a game that was better than Security Breach, it was just actually a legitimately good and fun game. And one that was actually pretty scary at times. Albeit they still need to work a little more on that. So, Secret of the Mimic is a game that, it's not like a sequel or anything to Security Breach. They were just like, so we should just not do anything around this new era. We should just explore this really old point in time and tell this story from one of the books, except put it into a game and make it canon and do our own little things with the story to make it tie together with the games. And they did. And chronologically, Secret of the Mimic is the first in the series. And you can really tell that when you're playing the game. You can really tell that you're in like the late 70s. And you can even see how the place that you're at, how it has roots, like it goes back before that. You see like the different advertisements the company has, and they look like they came from like the 60s and the 50s, and it's just like, wow, this place is old as hell. This company is old as hell. And it's just a really surprising game. I wasn't expecting a Five Nights at Freddy's game to really explore the themes of the dangers of ambition, misogyny, themes of abuse, and the effects of it. I wasn't expecting a Five Nights at Freddy's game to explore the themes of abuse and the effects of it, or freaking sexism. Like, that was a shock to the system for me. I was just like, wow, this is a Five Nights at Freddy's game doing this. This is surprising. And basically, the way you learn about most of the story is through, various recordings and stuff left behind in this place. Murray's Costume Manor. Because the Mimic isn't made by Fazbear Entertainment. It was made by totally different person. And it was just something he made to entertain his kid, and he ended up making like a machine that could really be entertaining, but also kind of dangerous. Like, I'm surprised this guy didn't understand the implications of what he was creating beforehand, but he was just like, nah, this is fine. So basically, this guy named Edwin Murray, he made this, thing to entertain his child, and it could adapt to any costume. And he also made it, I don't remember if the game said he was, I don't remember if like this was necessarily purposeful, but the machine he created, it had the ability to mimic other things, both their actions and their voice. He created something that, he wanted to have a voice that would be able to talk to his child, really entertain him, really be the full babysitter, because, he's a dad in the 70s, he's too fucking lazy to take care of his child. What are we talking about here? So yeah. And basically what had happened is his wife died. He was pretty sad. Then this mimic thing started mimicking his wife. And he was just like, you know what? I'm down for this. I am not afraid of this at all. Which, I think is a little bit weird. I think that's a little bit creepy. But then his... I don't know what happened first, but then his child died. That part of the mimic that was mimicking his wife, that part, he uploaded basically the computer, the brain, to a different computer, and basically reset this thing. So this would be before his child died. So then this new version, this new updated mimic that's called M2, and that's the version that's hunting you in the game, that brain, M2, it copied, it mimicked his son. And then after his wife died and his son died, obviously this guy's pretty fucking depressed. So hearing a freaking machine that he just made for his child, and now his child's dead, and now he's hearing his child in this machine, he's like, I'm pissed off, I don't like this thing. And so he abuses it and beats the shit out of it. And then guess what, after all that violence, guess what the mimic mimics? Violence. And it just starts fucking killing people. It becomes a dangerous place to be in Murray's Costume Manor, so they pretty much just like abandoned it. I don't know what happened to old Edwin Murray, the guy behind it, but basically the reason why you're there, why Fazbear Entertainment keeps sending people as well, they want that technology, obviously. Who cares about the dangerous aspects? When has Fazbear Entertainment ever ran away in the face of danger? No. They love the danger. They are the danger. So they keep sending, recovery members to go and get that technology, to get the blueprints. And they just keep dying. They keep dying to this thing because it just keeps killing people. Like, it's not a nice machine. It fucking hates people. It was pretty mad after it was beaten, and after deciding to just mimic that, it was just like, screw it, we're killing all these people. And so basically you're there trying to survive against a vengeful monster. This isn't a situation where it's like, oh, something supernatural, the kids are possessing a suit it's a dead ghost in there that's trying to haunt you and put you in a suit. No, this thing just literally just hates everything, is incredibly vengeful, and just wants to see blood. This thing is just seeing red, and it's freaking terrifying. So this game, the gameplay, massive step up from Security Breach. It actually feels like you're trying to survive. It actually feels like you're trying to hide, to just stay alive in this situation. It doesn't feel like you're just completely like, doesn't matter. Like in Security Breach, where you get like the phaser blaster or whatever, you get the camera and you're just like, bam, what are you gonna do now, Roxy? What are you gonna do now, Chica? What are you gonna do now, Monty? Nothing. You're stunned. Like little bitch losers. No, in this game, you're actually trying to hide, survive, distract, and you're also like trying to solve different like puzzles, trying to connect the power, trying to solve like basic little activating bits. I don't know what the little mini game's called, but it's to upgrade your security clearance, to access more rooms and get deeper into the facility. And then within the game, there is another game. So basically, when you pick up collectibles, they'll pop up in this little adventure game. It's not quite like a point and click. It's basically like a point and click adventure. And then the things you collect show up in this little computer game, and you have to collect everything in the game to have everything pop up in this thing. And then you just go through this point and click adventure, and then at the end you unlock a special security clearance to unlock a special ending. It's a lot, but the ending is pretty worth it. I won't say anything about it because I don't really want to spoil the game for any people that want to play the game. Although I guess I just spoiled the entire story of the game, so I guess I should put a warning there. So yeah, the gameplay very solid. The horror is much better than Security Breach, although it's still not quite there. The thing about what they're doing in these modern Five Nights at Freddy's games is they're kind of like using noises a little too much. They're using loud noises even when it's not like a jump scare. And this is a game where it's evolved into a series that's more than just about jump scares. It's actually about atmosphere now. So, you're walking through this very atmospheric, just place where you're just afraid, cold, and alone. And you can hear that in your character's voice, where he sounds like he's just shivering and shaking, and he just sounds really, really tired. This dude is afraid, and you're afraid. So the atmosphere is really solid. The jump scares, Five Nights at Freddy's staple, they're alright, they're decent, although it's definitely at a point where these games are not relying on those anymore. And really, the issue, like I just said, loud noises, is that when the thing, I don't know how to explain this, but like, it has like a little too many audio cues to clue you in that like, oh, the monster is nearby, the mimic is nearby. And then it's just like a really loud, like, scary noise, except it's not very scary because it's just like, oh, this loud noise is playing in my ear. What's happening? Oh, there's just a thing over there. Versus, it would be a lot more scary if you just looked over there and there was just a thing staring back at you, dead cold eyes, and you're just like, oh shit, what is that thing? So, overall, very solid game, very surprisingly very good story, very good learning about it, where you're just going through learning subtle new details here and there from different recordings, different message logs about not just that story about this machine, but also just the work environment in Murray's Costume Manor and how toxic this workplace is or was, and how dangerous it was to work here. And just in general, very solid story. The gameplay, very, not like anything, crazy fun, but very fun enough to like really get you into the game, where it's just like, it's fun enough, it's scary enough, the story's enough to where it's just overall a very good package. Like, all the things, they're nothing crazy, but they all add up to an incredible experience. So, yeah. That's Five Nights at Freddy's Secret of the Mimic. Number 5, Donkey Kong Bananza. And this is a game that actually came out in 2025. Now, a lot of people are calling this game one of the best Nintendo games. Oh, it's one of the best games of the year. Or, oh, it's the best game of 2025. Or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, this is a very good game, very fun game. It's, it's very similar to Mario Odyssey, but fixes a lot of the problems that game had, and, has a lot of extra stuff that, like, Mario Odyssey never had. and just has so many extra cool things about it that really make it a very fun experience. But for me personally, it wasn't my favorite game of this year, and it wasn't my favorite Nintendo game of this year, to be honest. Like, it was a very great experience, a very fun game, but also, like, Mario Odyssey was, like, I really liked it at first, but the more I play it, the more I'm just like, I'm getting tired of this. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of Mario Odyssey, and because of how similar this is to Mario Odyssey, I'm also not the biggest fan of this game. But this also does so many things so much better than Super Mario Odyssey, to where I'm like, yeah, this is a pretty damn good game. And yeah, so what makes this game really fun is just the destruction and the constant action that's going on. Like, there's never a dull moment where you're just like, this game is so boring, I got nothing to do right now. No, like, there's, at any point in the game, you can always just, like, you're just going ham, either destroying the environment for no reason, or you're just trying to look for something, get through, and just, like, are trying to find something and don't care about getting to it whatever the intended way was. You're just smashing through all this rock and stuff just to get yourself to it, instead of taking whatever path that it would kind of lead you to that thing. So I really like, the freedom. You can just say, screw it, I'm just gonna start smashing through all this stuff, and I'm gonna go over here to this thing, and I'm not gonna care about all these different paths that could take me there. I'm gonna cut straight to it, straight to the point. And that is very cool. And that really it really makes the whole collectathon experience efficient. Like, it really is a very, very good collectathon, and it's much better in Mario Odyssey, in that, like, in Mario Odyssey, when there was just, like, a moon that was just like, oh, go here, like, that would just be kind of like, oh, that's kind of boring. That's just, like, that's all it is. I literally go to the spot and, like, I ground pound it or something, or it's just like, I just go here. Whereas in Donkey Kong Bonanza, since traversing and just, like, smashing through everything to get to all this different stuff and just overcoming all these obstacles is just something you're always doing. Even, like, the simple, Bananium gems, where it's just, like, in just a random spot that you just have to get to, it still feels like you're actually doing something and you're actually accomplishing something, and you actually feel like, oh, I did something when you get the Banandium gem. It feels a lot more well-designed in that aspect. It's much more well-designed in all these aspects of, like, oh, it's a big collectathon. And yeah, it's very much more well-designed than Mario Odyssey, and it offers so much more progression and, like, sense of, like, oh, I have more things now because of the upgrading system, or, like, it's the skill system. So every 5 Banandium gems you get a skill point, and you can, with enough skill points, you can unlock new skills. And on top of that, to add to the progression, you also have these different Bananza transformation, where it's just like you activate this thing, and for a short period you have, like, special abilities. And, like, on top of, like, the skills where you can upgrade Donkey Kong's basic stuff, you can also upgrade, like, his unique Bananza abilities, and all those things really just make for a incredible progression system that's, I think, just makes it a game that's leagues better than Mario Odyssey in so many ways. And also the worlds, the different environments. There's really only, like, a couple, like, different areas in the game where I'm just like, this is okay. Most of the areas in the game are just, like, very well designed, and both, like, the aesthetic and just, like, how everything is made and how everything connects. It's just much more well designed than in Mario Odyssey, and is just, I think, a much more fun game. And I think in so many ways, it's just a much better game than Mario Odyssey. Really, the only thing I'd give to Odyssey is just the fact that it's like, oh, Mario, so you might have some areas that are more memorable, like the Mushroom Kingdom. But, like, even though Donkey Kong Bonanza has just, like, some general themes, like, oh, you have this lagoon area. Oh, you have this, this poison forest area. It still feels like they really went all in on these areas and those themes, where it's just like, yeah, maybe you can't do anything as crazy or as memorable as, like, some of the kingdoms in Mario Odyssey, but all these areas still feel really incredible to just, like, explore and find all the different things in it. So it's a very fun game. So many things that you can just, do, because, yeah, with your moveset and all the things, it's a game where you just basically are destroying a lot of stuff, but hey, that's really fun, and it's a really solid game. But I still get tired of some collectathons. I will say, though, this is a collectathon where at some point I want to go back and do everything, because they also made a bunch of things more accessible. Like, you can buy different maps to find all these things that you haven't already found. And it's not to, like, make the game super easy. It's just like, you can, if you just have, like, a few more things left in an area and you just really cannot find them on your own, hey, you can buy just some maps, because they cost, a lot. So you can't just, like, buy all the maps of all the Banandium gems for one area really easily. It's just, like, something you do once you get to, like, you've made all this progress in an area and you're just like, okay, I'm having trouble, I'm stalling, I just am gonna buy all the maps to find the rest of the stuff. So definitely something I want to revisit. Definitely a very fun game. Really had a fun time with it, but I've just had some better experiences with some of these other, these games higher up. So yeah, that's Donkey Kong Bonanza. Number 4, Mario Kart World. Now, I know this is a very controversial pick, both because of the price and because, it has a lot of new things and it's very fun, but, it still doesn't have as much as, people really wanted. I think people wanted just a little bit more because of the long wait, and again, because of, that hefty price. And it's like, yeah, I think I know why Nintendo priced it at $80, besides just wanting, a lot of money from sales. In general, overpricing things is a bad business decision. So I think what a lot of people have figured out about that move is that they were just trying to sell the bundle. They just wanted to sell Switch 2s at a $500 price tag. So yeah, and unfortunately for them, they didn't get $500 from me. They got $530 because I couldn't find the bundle. I couldn't get the bundle, unfortunately. So I just ended up getting the system only. Now, I probably should have maybe found a way to get Mario Kart World cheaper, because $80 is a lot of money. But considering the fact that they still are doing physical games, I was like, okay, let's keep this a little secret. Don't tell Nintendo this, but I am willing to go pretty high if I can still buy a game physically, and it's a game that, I really have wanted and have been anticipating. Don't tell Nintendo my secrets. I don't want them pricing everything at $80. Then that's a bit of a difficult issue where I'd have to lay back a little bit. But I already buy so many games at such high prices because of, how I buy retro games, and I buy old ass games for like $100 And as long as, I mean, for these old systems, the only way to get it is physically. And, I get the whole package. I get the case and everything. So I was, just, it was a reluctant purchase. But in the end, while I feel like it's not worth $80, I still think it's a good game. I think if it was a lower price, it would really be worth it for so many people. So yeah, going past all that controversial crap and, just talking about the game itself, this is a very good Mario Kart, and it's a kind of game that I've been wanting for a very long time. Because ever since I played like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe for the first time, and I played Moo Moo Meadows in that game, I would just, before the track started, I would look out, to that area that it would just show, the outer bounds, and I'd be like, damn, I want to explore out there. I wish there was like a free roam Mario Kart. And you know what? That's what they gave us. And they did a very solid job. The world design in this game is very, very good. The way things are connected and, just the way everything looks, it's very incredible. The world looks really good in Mario Kart. And they introduced or reintroduced mission mode from like DS, Mario Kart DS, but it's a lot different here. I really liked the mission mode because there were like a lot of missions that were just felt really samey and were just okay, but there were also a bunch of like missions that were just like really fun, doing all these different things, going crazy, that would just be like wow, this is a damn good mission. The only issue I really had with those was just the reward. It was just a little sticker, and there wasn't really like a full livery editor. It would just be like one spot where these stickers would show up, and you can just change your sticker. So yeah, that really sucks. The issue with Mario Kart World is just the rewards, but the actual content and like when you're playing the game, you're having an incredibly fun time, or at least I was. I really love all the new tracks they introduced with all these different shortcuts and all these new things they introduced, and like the rail grinding system, the wall riding system, and I also like most of the returning tracks. I really like most of the returning tracks. I love that Toad's Factory is back. I know that Moo Moo Meadows, in 8 Deluxe, probably a bit weird to put that back since we already have a game on the Switch 2 that can, we can play Moo Moo Meadows. But I was really happy to see it in this game again, just because I really like that track so much. And again, that's why I wanted an open world Mario Kart. And then, tracks like Peach Beach, not Desert Hills though. I hate that track. God awful track. I hate it. So yeah, I really enjoy all the different Grand Prix. The intermission tracks, they're a bit strange. They can be fun, but I think in a, especially when you're playing online in a competitive arena, it's just annoying doing intermission tracks. But I think in the Grand Prix, if they just added a couple laps to all these tracks, so it's more than one when you get to them, very fun, very solid. Overall, had a really good time with the Grand Prix, and I really liked the concept of like, oh, you finished the race, now you're driving to like the next race, to the next track. I do think that's like a very cool idea, and I think if they just did a little bit more, it would have been like executed almost perfectly. And yeah, and I also really liked the knockout tours. I think that was a great way to add just more racing options into this game. Besides just like, having all these different options in versus mode, you actually have an entirely new form of like racing modes besides the Grand Prix. And I really, really enjoyed all the different knockout tours. And even though those were more on like you're just driving through the world, so you're not driving on any of these tracks in particular, it feels much better in the context of like, oh, this is a lot more competitive. This is a lot more like you have to really be careful. You have to really secure your position, get into a high position, because of how intense it is. I really enjoyed like everything about this game. Like, for me, I honestly, like, this was one of my most played games in 2025. I really enjoyed this game. It was very fun. I loved all the different things they added. There were, a few things that I just didn't like, and it was just like, eh. But for the most part, I think all the good things, for me at least, overcame all the bad things when it comes to, to the game itself, outside of like all the extra, real world stuff. So yeah, this game really made my year. It was a great way to start a new generation of games for Nintendo, and it was very fun. And yeah, Nintendo's freaking stupid. They make decisions that are both about money and about some sort of crazy move, because I really do think they were trying to sell that bundle. I think otherwise, I mean, maybe they still would have priced it at $80. I don't know for sure, but I definitely think that was something they were thinking about. But I at least think most people bought the bundles, and I think now that like the initial need that all these people had for like, oh, I need to get the Switch 2. I think the most of the initial hype is starting to die down. So I don't think, even if people are still getting the Switch 2, they're still like being like, maybe I don't need to buy Mario Kart World for that price. Maybe I wait for it to go on sale, or maybe if they bring back the Mario Kart bundle, maybe I'll get it then. So yeah, hopefully it's just like this weird thing that happened, because a lot of the decisions Nintendo makes that seem like it's pure greed, and most ways are, but sometimes it could end up being like something really stupid, because I think Nintendo is still making Wii U level stupidity decisions, but they're just at a point where it's just like, it doesn't matter. They have too much momentum for these stupid decisions to really change that momentum too much. So yeah, controversial game. It's kind of like a guilty pleasure for most. And even though it's like a guilty pleasure, a lot of people still really enjoy it, still are having a great time with it. And people did vote with their wallets, so you kind of just have to live with that. So yeah, that's Mario Kart World. Alright, though, now we're getting into some serious stuff. Now things are getting real. Now we're about to get into my top 3 games that I played in 2025. So, get ready.
Oh no, me heart stopped! I'm fucking dying!
Number 3, Hades. So this is a game that I have owned for like maybe like a couple years, but it's just like been in my backlog. It's just been sitting on my shelf. I have a physical copy because I was in GameStop one time with my dad, and I don't remember if it was either me or him that ended up buying the game, but it was just like a spur of the moment thing where it's just like, oh, I want this. So, and then I obtained it. And I played like the first 30 minutes when I got home, and then I was like, but I still have other games I want to play, so I'll just take a break from it, and I'll play this game, properly eventually. I did eventually get to it. I wasn't lying. I wasn't kidding. But yeah, it took me a long time to get back into this game, but I've been trying to do that with a couple games, couple other games as well. So you'll see a pattern for the top 2 games as well. But I actually I haven't. So I'm still playing through the game right now. I started playing in November. By the very end of 2025, I think I got I think 2 successful escape attempts, and I think I need like 10, and I've gotten like 5 since the new year started. But I've played like most of my hours were from this year and from like November and early December. And let me tell you something. The hype is real. This game is very fun. It's very fast paced, especially as you get more through it, especially as you get to the further areas where you just have to be really quick and careful. This game, fucking incredible, man. Like, this is how you make a game. And really my only issues with it are just side effects of it being a roguelike. You know, with all the repetition. So this game, you know, you get into it immediately. You like, once you start the game, you're in it. That's it. You're already in the game. You're already attempting to escape the underworld, because that's what you're trying to do. Now, I won't try and spoil the story, but you're trying to get to the underworld for a very heartfelt reason, basically. So yeah, you're trying to fight through the underworld, and the abilities that you only have during your runs are all these different abilities that you get from all these different gods of Olympus and stuff like that. You know, the standard Greek mythology kind of stuff. But then you also collect like some things that you get that you can use after you die and you return to the House of Hades, that you can use to get like some permanent small upgrades. And like, basically the pattern is you just keep going through, making so many more runs through the game, and not only are you collecting more stuff to get more and more small upgrades that are permanent, that really all add up to end up being a lot, but you also are you're generally getting better at the game. Like the first time you like get a successful escape attempt, that's just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did it. It's been so difficult trying to get through all these bosses and all these different areas. But after that, it gets easier and easier, because you just keep learning. You gain that skill. You learn how to anticipate all these different bosses and its standard enemies and all their different moves and stuff, and you really get into a nice flow in the game. And you also figure out, you know, all the best upgrade combinations that you can get from all the different gods and all the different abilities. And this game is really just not just about the action and the skill, but also just about the learning, the process where you just learn all these different things. You go through it and you're just like, oh, okay, so this is a good ability. Maybe I should remember that. Oh, and so I need these abilities to get this ability. So, and this ability is really good, so maybe I should try to go for that another time. And you just do all these different things, and you are just learning, you know, all the best calculated decisions that you can make throughout all your different runs to really just get incredible at the game. So after you escape successfully once, it just gets easier and easier. And this game is really well designed. I think what comes down to it is that you have all these different weapons, and this is kind of a problem that I have with the game, but also don't, where it requires you to use, not successfully escape with, but just use all of your different weapons that you keep unlocking as you go through the game, so that you can then have the ability to give permanent aspects or upgrades to your weapons that you can, you know, with a specific currency. And I really like how the game encourages you to use different weapons, and I like how there's like different, you can just get all these rewards again, but you're just using a different weapon. And then it also lets you learn like, oh, maybe I'm actually better with this weapon and not that weapon, and so on and so forth. I just don't like the initial like forcing of like, oh, you have to use all these different weapons before you can actually really start like advancing the weapons that you really are getting used to and that you like. It's just like, that's a bit of an annoying issue, but for the most part, it's fine, because you only have to do it once. And after you do it once, you just really get into it. You really get into a flow with all your favorite weapons and figuring out, okay, what is the best aspect that I can get for this weapon that I can upgrade and build upon. And yeah, and then there's also these different things where you can change like the different like rewards and like rooms without the throughout the underworld, where you can like add different types of rooms or chambers to the underworld to make things easier. And you can add like bonus stuff, like, so when you pick up a reward after clearing an encounter, you also get a bonus reward on top of that from like these different house contracts, they're called. And then it's very in-depth, and like, so it's not just like, you know, because all the upgrades are so small, and they're very slight things, but all those things put together as you're gaining skill, it just really adds up, and you really feel the progress that you're making every single time. And it's incredible. It's an incredible game, and it's very well designed. And on top of that, you also have a very, I won't try to spoil it, but you have a very good story, and like one that you understand. You start to at least understand all the different characters, like different sides, and why, oh, Hades might think this differently because of this, or this character has issue with other character because of this, and like you understand all these different viewpoints, and it's just a very engaging thing where you're just learning about all these different people, you're talking to them, and you can even grow your relationship with them. And then you can also get like different items or keepsakes from them, and it's just a very all around well designed experience where you're going through it and you're having fun in every regard, learning about all these different characters, having fun upgrading all these different things, and toying around with like, oh, what would be better, this upgrade or this one? And then like, again, you know, the weapons, picking the different weapons and stuff, and then going through it and actually playing the game and actually just like going through it, trying to escape. And it's just a very good game. So yeah, it's just the small repetitiveness of the game that really knocks it down to number 3 instead of like 2 or 1 in this regard. But yeah, just in general though, these next 2 games I really loved. But yeah, still really liked Hades. And you know, also the abilities that you can get throughout your runs from like all the different gods, I would say for the most part, none of the upgrades feel like they're too overpowered, or like the one upgrade is just like vastly better than like a counterpart that another god has. They're all pretty equal, and none of them are super overpowered, except for one. Divine Dash. Divine Dash is a overpowered ability. I'm just gonna put that out there. I think it's incredibly overpowered because of how much you can avoid, and if you get skilled with it, you can just deflect so many attacks and just avoid so much. It's incredible. But yeah, that is Hades.
The Fitness Gram Pacer test is a multi-stage aerobic capacity test that progressively gets more difficult as it continues.
Surprise, surprise, number 2 is another game that I had in my backlog that also happens to be an indie game that also won the Indie Game of the Year 2023 at the Game Awards, and that is Sea of Stars. Oh boy, I bought this game like after I was playing some Mario RPG game, because I was getting more into turn-based RPGs. This is when I started to realize like, oh, I do like turn-based games. This is fun. I just never played a proper one until I played like Super Mario RPG and then Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. And so I was like looking through the Nintendo eShop, just trying to see if like I could find another nice like turn-based RPG that was like deeper and that had like more, because you know Mario RPG is a Mario RPG, so yeah, and that had like a little more difficulty, a little more stuff going on. And so I eventually landed on getting Sea of Stars. And then again, I didn't touch it. I didn't want to touch it until I was ready, until I set aside the time to play through the game. And 2025, I finally got to it, and I was like, all right, I'm ready to play this game now. And so I started playing through it. It takes the first section of the game, like the prologue, it takes a little bit of time, but after you get through it, the game really picks up in pace. So this game, you're doing like quite a few different things. So, you know, the big things is the story, the turn-based combat, and then also, not like I would say traversal, but like there's a bit of like puzzle solving as you try and get through these areas. Now, it's not like anything crazy, it's not like anything super difficult, but it's just like small little things where you have to think and like have to figure things out. And it honestly reminded me a lot of like the type of puzzles that you'd find in like 2D Zelda games, something like Link's Awakening, like basic stuff like that. But it was just like really fun going through all these different areas, figuring out how to get through everything, what I'm supposed to do, and then going through all these different fights where I'm fighting all these different enemies, and I'm leveling up my characters, and I'm also figuring out their different skills and moves better. And then I'd also keep going through it, and I'd also be learning more about the story and about these different characters, and then I'd be introduced to new ones that would get added to my party later. And it's just a very solid game. Like there's not many things that I'd say are bad about it. I don't even think there really is anything bad about it. I think it's an incredible game that has like barely any like flaws. And it does have incredibly high highs, especially with the bosses, and with the story. And I just don't think it has any lows. It's one of the most consistent games I've ever played. There's never a moment where I'm like, bro, this character sucks, or oh, this thing sucks, and I'm like, oh, why is this happening? This is stupid, or like, oh, I'm not having fun here. This is boring. I hate it. No, it's incredibly solid and consistent all the way through. Really the only slight issue I have with it is in Act 3. Just because of the story, there's just some things where I'm just like, oh, I wasn't expecting it to go there. I don't hate that it went there, but I'm just like, it's kind of like, I'm surprised by this. I'm not too sure about it. And there's some characters that like changed a little bit, and I'm like, did they really? Was this change really warranted? Was it really going in that direction to begin with? Like, this change feels a little bit weird, but hey, it's whatever. Overall, Act 3 is still really good because it does something really unique and cool that I'm not gonna try and spoil, but it's also like I have a lot of gameplay footage from that, and it might give it away. But yeah, so many things. When it comes to like the general gameplay of like combat, there's like so many different things by when you get to the end of it. So first, you know, you just have your basic attack moves, and then you also have your different like individual like magic skills that use up your magic meter. But then as you get through the game, you also unlock this mana thing. So every time you do a regular attack, it drops some like little things, and then you can boost your next attack, and it's just and you can like add aspects to your attack. Like if you drop the little bubbles and then you apply them to one character, your attack not only does like a blunt damage or slash damage, it also does like moon damage or like sun damage or something like that. Because like some of the the thing about the combat is that some enemies will like try and cast certain spells. So after a certain number of like turns go by, they cast the spell and it does like something big, like it does a lot of damage, or it helps their side a lot, like healing or shielding or something like that. And so basically what you have to try and do is try and destroy the locks on the spell by doing certain attacks. Like you have to do some slash damage, you have to do some blunt damage, you have to do this type of magic damage and stuff like that. And it's very cool, and it really adds to like the strategy of all of it in the combat. And some of like the different characters' special moves is based on like uncovering what's under the locks, and so you can figure out what to do the next time that spell comes up where they're trying to do that. Because when you at first you don't know what's under the lock until you get it for the first time, and then you know, when you get that spell again, when they're trying to cast a spell again, you see what's under some of those locks as you've uncovered them, and it's just a very competent experience. Like, it really just makes you think, oh, what do I need to do here? Should I try and can I go for this lock? Can I try and chip down, you know, what's under that, or should I just try attacking like this other character because they're maybe about to go down or something? It really adds to the strategy of it. And then on top of all that, you also have combo moves, or basically once you build up your combo meter, you can do certain moves with pairs of characters that can really help you in battle with attacking either all players, or all enemies, or like one specific enemy, you know, with a lot of damage, or like you're healing or giving special effects. And then on top of that, you also have an ultimate meter where you build up enough, doing enough moves where you build up your ultimate meter, and then once that builds up, you can do an ultimate attack that's just like does a crazy amount of damage. And then like for certain cases, you can also do like other effects that are just really insane. It's just really well designed, very incredible experience in that regard, where you're just having to think about things, you're having to strategize, and you're having to prepare. Preparation is very important. And the thing about like resting in between certain areas where you're just getting to like these, I guess you'd call them checkpoints, but they're like campfires where you can like cook, and you can make different meals. You can cook different food that has like different effects, like healing or magic restoration, or like a bit of both, or like some other effect. And it's just like a really solid experience where like you're just having all these different things, you're finding all these different ways to prepare, all these different things to do, and you also find so many different things you can like discover. Like pretty much throughout all the areas you're going to, there's always like some extra things that you can discover if you just go off to like a little side path and do a little bit of extra stuff. And it's just a very fun experience where it's a linear experience, but you're also having the opportunities to just like go off to the side a little bit, to just like engage in like your curiosity, where you're like, oh, but what's over there? That's a little bit different. And then you can find like extra stuff, and it's just a really fun experience. And then with the story, like it's kind of a strange story, all things considered. It's a bit different, but it's a very good, it's a very solid story. I don't think there's any character that like I really disliked throughout the game, unless it was a bad guy where I'm just like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. For the most part, I just really engaged like with all the different characters, the story, and all the different dialogue. Really, the only thing about it is sometimes it was just like very generic responses to each other from all the different characters. The story is really the only thing where maybe some people might be like, this is a bit too off, or it's a bit too weird, or it's a bit too strange. But I just thought it was very, very solid, and I really liked how many different twists and turns you'd get. Like oh wow, I wasn't expecting that to happen. It's just like really cool. And so, yeah, it's just a very good game, and a very solid story, very solid combat, very solid, all these different things you're doing, and also a good soundtrack. It has some good music, and especially like certain tracks where I'm just like, holy shit, this is crazy. They did a really good job, like with the sound, with the music. It's crazy. So yeah, that's Sea of Stars. So yeah, now it's gonna be time to move on to my numero uno. This is the moment that you've all been waiting for. Throughout time, this is the only thing that's mattered. The only thing that anything has been building up to. This moment. That's what all of the past has been building up to. My number one game that I played in 2025. Hollow Knight. Now, this was another game that was in my backlog where my friend kept recommending this game to me, and I kept seeing online like, oh, Hollow Knight's a really great game, everybody should play it. And it was just like, okay, I'll buy the game. And so I bought the game, played like 30 minutes of it, and then I was like, I'm gonna go play some other games. I don't really feel like playing this game right now. And it was just a game where I was like, I don't want to play it yet. Another situation where I was holding off until I found like, the right time to just play through this. So yeah, 2025 was the time where I was just like, okay, I'm ready to play through this game. And I started it right after I was playing just, my other top something games in this list where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm having so much fun playing these games. This was after Donkey Kong Bonanza. This was after Sea of Stars. And so I was like, okay, now it's time to play Hollow Knight, one that might be potentially even better than Sea of Stars for me. And you know what? Holy crap. This is one of the best games I have ever played. Like, no joke. This really is one of the best games of all time. It's crazy that this didn't win like a Game of the Year, but then I remember it came out in 2017, so and unfortunately there was a lot of competition, and unfortunately Silksong lost to Expedition 33. Sad times we live in, but anyway, this game just, I feel like everyone knows why this game is just really incredible. The design of, the world, because, Hollow Knight is a Metroidvania, it's kind of like it's a lot different than like any of the Metroidvanias I've played before, where after you get through like the first boss and like the first area, or not technically, you're not technically done with the first area, but like you've gotten through like all you can, it kind of like opens up after a little bit where you have multiple options of like different areas you can go to. And I really like that because it really added to the sense of like, oh, I'm lost. I don't know what I'm doing or where I should go. And so that made any moment where I found something to like level me up and give me more abilities that would open up even more for me. I was like, oh my goodness, this is great. I'm happy. They really did an incredible job with the sense of not knowing where in the hell to go. They did that so much better than like so many other games do that. And it's just because of the fact that it actually just honestly just gives you a little bit more freedom than a lot of other Metroidvanias. Like, it still has that level of restriction where you can't just like, it's not open. You can't just go wherever you want, but you have several different paths to choose from, several different options. And the thing is, you just have no idea which one is the right one to go. It's just incredible how they designed it. And both the platforming and the fighting, because Metroidvanias are basically just defined as like action platformers. Both of those things are pretty damn incredible. Like, there are some moments where it just feels like I'm playing like a full-on platformer, and then sometimes where I'm playing like a full-on like incredible combat experience, you know, type of game. It's just really solid, and it's just like, it's not even that crazy because like the combat is so, it's just so simple. Like it's not anything crazy. You just have some basic moves, but it's how the enemies operate and how you try and, you know, fight them, because you have to be careful, you have to be calculated. You can't just run up and start attacking every enemy you see. You have to be careful, you have to predict, you have to avoid, and then make moves. It's really incredible. And the bosses in the game are all just insanely good. Like some of the best boss fights you'll encounter in all of gaming. Especially with like the final boss and so many of these other bosses, like I think there was, you know, the free updates with all the game had. It added this guy King Grim, and that was like an incredible boss fight. And then after you beat King Grim, you unlock another boss fight with him that's even harder, that's even more difficult, called Nightmare King Grim. And let me tell you something. I have never felt more proud of myself than when I beat Nightmare King Grim after, you know, I thought it was like impossible. I thought it was like too difficult, and I was just like, oh my goodness, this is just too much. This is just too much. And I was just like dying so much, but I would just keep getting at it, and I would just keep perfecting my skill against this boss, until eventually I just got to a point where I was just like in the flow, like nothing could stop me, and I knew what I was doing, and I just eventually defeated him. And it was just like an incredible moment. Every moment in Hollow Knight feels like a spectacular one when you're just exploring and finding simple new things here and there, like simple, you know, new charms, or like pieces of like mask, or pieces of like a vessel to like increase your health and increase the amount of soul you can have as you will. And then finding the bigger abilities like magic, all the different magic abilities, or like the dashing abilities that not only allow you to get to places that you couldn't before, but also enhance the general gameplay experience. Like I remember after I got the ability to dash, it wasn't just like, oh, I can get to more places now. It was just like, oh, this enhances the experience, and I can use this in so many ways to just like, it just made the gameplay better. You're just getting better and better and better and better throughout the game, as you're getting more and more and more and more and more, as you're exploring and finding new things every time. And something that was just like really incredible about this, and about, you know, Metroidvanias in general, but especially this game, where you have to go through all the different areas so many times when you're trying to explore, because you don't know where to go. It's a much longer Metroidvania than what I'm used to. So it's just like I'm going through all these different places so often and often and often, but then every time I go through all these places that I've been through before, I end up noticing something, or like finding something that like I couldn't get to before, or I couldn't do before, and I'm just like, holy shit, I can do this now. Like I see that now. And it's just like a moment where I just constant discovery, constantly finding new things everywhere, just because not only are you gaining more things where you have the ability to get more stuff and get all these things, but you're also just, you have increased your observational skills, where you're just like, oh my gosh, I'm noticing all these things now. I'm much more in tune. This game, it's just a damn good game. That's really all I can say about it, you know? Yeah, there's not much more to go. Really the only potential, like really the only slight issues I had with the game were due to like some of the content that they added in the updates. They're substantial, and like that's great, but because of the way the world is designed, they had to like put them in like a little section where it's just like another thing, where it's just like you have to like be very observational to notice just this like slight change. And so I don't like how hidden these major things are, you know, that they added in updates, where I'm just like, I understand, you know, trying to like hide it a little bit and, you know, make it you know, a secret and integrate it seamlessly with the world, just adding it into the spot that already exists. But like, yeah, some of the things was just like, I would have never noticed this until I watched the video, probably, because it's just like such the small things that usually behind, you know, these different, you know, the walls that are, you can barely tell that are breakable. It would just be like small items, and so it would feel so innocent when you'd find that, where it's just like, oh, I just noticed something was a little bit different about this thing, and so I realized, oh, there's something behind this, and then, oh, it's just a nice little reward for me. So yeah, I didn't quite like how they hid that extra content and stuff, and I mean, that might be like the only issue I have with it, because honestly, when it comes to like some of the other problems people have with it, and when it comes to like checkpoints and saving, I didn't really have many issues with the placement of like the different benches, where you could like save and like rest and like, you know, heal and everything. I honestly didn't find like any of the boss rushes, you know, too awful, because, you know, this is a game where like you're probably, especially at like when you get to later bosses, you're gonna die the first try. You're not gonna get it first try. So you'll die, and then you'll reset to your last checkpoint, and then you have to try, and then you'll have to go back to that area, and then you have to go through all the things you got through before to get to that boss area, and it's just like, you know, boss rush. But honestly, I didn't find any of the boss rushes to be too much, because I found, you know, optimal ways to get through it, where it's just like, yeah, this isn't too bad. It's just a little thing that, you know, I have to get through, and yeah, it was just very fun all the way through, and I like the way they designed the charms, where you can only change like the different charms you have when you're at a bench. Like, you can only change like your extra little abilities or you know, things when you're at a bench, because you have to be really careful. You have to be really think about things, and it's just like, okay, what would be the best thing to have here going through this new area, or like, oh, I need to face this boss again. What do I need to change to be able to face it and have better chances now? You really have to think about it for a little bit, and it's just well designed in that aspect, and yeah. And the game it's always like, it like subverts your expectations so many times, where like you find something and it's just like, oh, this is just a normal thing that I run into in this game, so, you know, it's just something I'm used to. But then you get to it and it's just like, holy shit, I wasn't expecting this to happen. Like, you rescue all these different like grubs, they're called grubs. And so you rescue these grubs, and you go back to this area where the grub father is and all these rescued grubs are, and you get, you know, different rewards for rescuing the different grubs, and as you rescue more. And so you find these things throughout the world, and you're just like, oh, I know what this is. I need to rescue this guy again. And you can even hear it. But there's also, when you get to a, you know, a certain point in the game, you'll end up finding like these things that are actually like fake outs. Like, they look exactly like the grubs, but then they're just like actually like enemies. They're like, they transform, and they're like become these monstrous things that are trying to kill you. And it's just like, wow, I was not expecting this. And it just really, it like, they do so many things to like keep that tone where you're just like, I gotta be careful. They do an incredible job keeping a tone of like constant, not like panic or anything, but just like unease, where you're just like, I don't know what's coming at. I don't know what's coming next. I don't know what to expect. And then once you find these new things, it's just like, okay, like, Jesus Christ, this is a lot. So yeah, there's a lot of things I could really go deeper into, but I just don't want to take too much time on it. I don't want to do too much. I pretty much covered all the things and like the big reasons why I really like this game and why I really had fun with it. So yeah, you know, this is a game where you have to expect the unexpected. You have to understand things. I don't know what I'm saying. But also, you play as a cute little bug. 11 out of 10 game. So, yeah. That is, those were my top 10 games that I played in 2025. Quite a long video as I'm looking at the time now, and it's going to be even longer after I do some editing and adjustments. But yeah, I had a fun time talking about all these games. It's not gonna be a crazy video where I'm gonna do too much. It's not like one of my main episodes, but yeah, I just wanted to do another, you know, video like I did the last 2 years, where I'm just talking about the games I really like, and hopefully I can actually get this out on a proper time. And so yeah, and yeah, if you've gotten to this point, just you know, tell me what you enjoy playing in 2025. You know, what's the haps with you, you know, and yeah, those were the games that I enjoyed. So yeah, that is all. Goodbye.